Hello, my friend. Welcome to Live with Ease. My name is Julia, and today I invite you to open your hips and open your mind. In today's practice, we're going to focus on visualizing growing roots and deepening our grounding so that we can draw ourselves closer to Earth's energy and also to free up our hips and open up our hips and relieve some low back tension. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into our yogi cozies and let's get started. Start by resting back in a comfortable position. You can place something under your knees for added support or under your skull. As you begin to settle in to your comfortable supine position, take note of what parts of the body are touching down, and imagine that you're growing roots from these points of contact. So again, just observe or be with whatever areas you're drawn to or wherever your awareness or your mind is drawn to in this moment. And then consider your own individual root system. So maybe considering whether your roots are thick, are they thin, growing deep into the earth, or growing in an expansive way, or spreading those roots. So take a moment just to visualize and imagine, using the mind's eye, to grow those roots, to draw you closer to the center of the earth, closer to Earth's energy. We can also use the breath or imagine the breath as water. So as we inhale, maybe imagining that in-breath is like water filling up a watering can. And that out-breath like water pouring into the roots, nourishing the roots, allowing them to grow even deeper, even thicker, spreading even wider. So you can ask yourself, does this visualization of growing roots out of the points of contact, does it increase your sense of grounding, your sense of letting go? So this is all through the imagination. It's not about forcing or pushing the body into the ground, just allowing gravity to act on the body. So again, inhale, fill that watering can, and as you exhale, pour that breath into the roots, nourish those roots. And with this element of grounding, there's also an element of elongation. So imagining that the two ends, the skull and the pelvis, are lengthening away from each other. So on your own time, You can bend the knees and place the soles of the feet on the ground. Maybe take the mind to a time when your feet came in contact to real earth and bring yourself back to what that felt like. And then on that exhalation, gently press the feet into the ground and begin to practice a little bit of bridge. So rolling the pelvis, peeling the pelvis and lower spine off the ground. And then rolling back down on your own time. Really focusing on rooting through the feet, really planting those feet, the whole footprint. And as you peel the pelvis and the spine off the ground, and as you roll the spine and pelvis back onto the ground, consider that element of lengthening. And then eventually, again on your own time, drawing that left leg into the abdomen. Settle that pelvis, settle the upper body or the upper back, settle the back of the skull. And really grounding through that right foot, growing the roots through that right foot. Exhale, press into the right foot, and then begin to peel the pelvis and the spine, much like you did in bridge. So essentially we're doing a variation of bridge, what I like to call little boat bridge. And allow that leg that's drawn in to fall towards you as you peel the pelvis and spine. And eventually you can extend the leg up towards the ceiling. You can circle out the ankle, give the leg a shake, and then lowering that left leg onto the ground. Allow it to just rest. Allow it to become heavy and passive and weighted. And then we're going to work with another variation of bridge, which is half bridge. And you're going to again plant into that right foot, grow the roots into the right foot. As you exhale, press gently into that right foot and allow the pelvis to roll towards that left leg or that left side of the body. And the idea here is to keep the pelvis in contact with the ground at all times as you roll. So it's not about lifting the pelvis and turning it and settling it on the left side. See if you can roll much like you did in bridge. So there's that element of rolling. And we want to make sure that the trajectory of the right knee is moving over the foot so it's not collapsing in or splaying out. Yeah, it's moving directly in front and forward. And then bending the knees, bringing both soles of the feet on the ground, walking them a little wider than your mat, and just allowing the legs to roll or fall to one side, then the other. It's a nice little counter pose here. A little gentle twist. And then when you're ready, you can begin with the other side. So drawing that right leg in towards the abdomen, working with a little boat bridge. Exhale, press into the left foot and roll the pelvis, peel the spine. Let the weight of the right leg draw closer towards you. Exhale, press, roll, and peel. Draw the leg in. Root the skull, root the upper back, roll down, extending that right leg up towards the ceiling, circling the ankles. Give that leg a shake, and then extending that right leg on the ground, planting in that left foot, taking us into our half bridge variation. Rolling towards that right side, keeping the left foot and left knee moving forward over the toes. And you can place the arms above the head if you like to increase that sense of lengthening, and just taking your time rolling in and out. And then again, whenever you're ready, you can go back to the counter pose, bending both knees, soles of the feet on the ground, a little wider than your mat, and letting the legs rock from side to side. And then drawing both legs into the abdomen, you can take holds behind the knees, above the shins, and you can gently rock side to side, circle the legs, massaging in that lower back. And then extending the left leg along the ground, bending that right knee with the sole of the foot on the ground. And then just take a moment to settle the pelvis, settle the upper back, skull, and then let that right leg fall out to its own side. So you're in kind of like a fallen tree here. So let's just make sure that we're actually on the mat in a way where both our heels are on the mat. Just adjust as you need to. And then slide that right leg down to meet the left foot. And then turn that right leg to parallel. Bend the right knee and slide that right heel back up. And then let that right leg fall out. Extend, turn in, bend, and continue with this circling for a little bit, trying to make the leg as noodly as possible, as relaxed as possible as you take your half circle, or more like a quarter circle. And then let's reverse the circle. So bending that right knee, turning that right leg out, sliding the leg up, bringing it back to the center so the sole of the foot is on the ground, and then extending that right leg. Then turn the right leg out, bend the knee, draw it up. So we're reversing that quarter circle. And then when you're satisfied, eventually you're going to come to just rest with that leg out to its own side. And then extending the arms above the head, and then walking the upper body towards the left, so that you're making kind of like a crescent shape here with your upper body. So you're bending to the left, the right leg's in tree pose. So let's plant those roots, grow those roots in the areas that are touching down, and then lengthening the skull and pelvis away from each other. Eventually coming back to the center. And then we're going to roll onto the left side of the body. And you're going to place that right foot, so the knee's going to be bent. You can place the right foot in front of the left leg, behind the left leg, or you can place the sole of the foot on the inner thigh of the left leg, above the knee or below the knee. You can bend in the left leg for a little support, and then just take a moment to really allow that left side of the body to ground down, root down. Inhale, fill that canister with water. Exhale, pouring that water into your roots, nourishing those roots, deepening those roots. There's also to help with lengthening on the out breath if you want to, whether your foot is on the left leg or on the ground. As you exhale, you can gently press into that right foot to help elongate the pelvis away from the skull. And then let's roll onto the belly so that that right leg is still bent. You're kind of in a little rescue pose here. You can rest the cheek, your left cheek, on your hands. Exhale, letting the weight of the front of the pelvis drop to help release in the hip. And then let's roll back onto our backs. And then let's bend in both knees and draw that right leg in. Externally rotate it right from the hip joint. Place the outer part of the right foot, ankle, or shin on the left thigh. You can leave the legs where they are, or you can draw the legs towards you, feeding the arms through the space between the legs, taking hold of the back of the left leg, drawing the legs towards you. You can take a gentle rocking of the legs side to side. Basking in that sensation in the outer right hip. And then release the legs and place the feet back on the ground. And then we're going to do two versions of an internal rotation here, and you can choose which one is more accessible. So walking that right foot out to its own side, and then internally rotating that right leg and letting the right leg fall, the inner part of the right leg fall towards the ground. And here you want to be very mindful of that knee. If there's any discomfort whatsoever, immediately come out of it. If you want to try it again and place some support under that right knee and see if that helps and takes away the discomfort. If not, then what you can do is go back to taking both feet slightly wider than the mat and just letting the legs roll from side to side. And you're gaining or getting the same action here in the hip. The half heroes version, which is with the left leg in the center and just that right leg internally rotating, is a little more intense. So be with that as long as you like. Switch sides on your own time. And then maybe between sides, take the limbs up towards the ceiling, give them a good shake, shaking out those legs, those arms, and then lowering the legs and beginning on the other side. the right leg extended along the ground, the left leg falling out to its own side in tree pose, or fallen tree, or tree on your back. Settle both sides of the pelvis. And then you can begin your quarter circle, sliding that left leg down, turning it in, sliding that left heel up towards the sit bones, letting the left leg fall back out to the side, slide it down, turn it in, bend the knee, slide the heel up. Again, how noodly can you make that leg? And then, of course, reversing the circle. And then let's bring that leg, left leg, back out to its own side, back to tree, our fallen tree, and then walking that torso towards the right. So here we want to see if we can sense both sides of the pelvis resting, both shoulder blades resting, taking that arm or the arms above the head. Inhale, fill the watering can. Exhale, pour the water into your roots, ground down and lengthen. Exhale, let go and elongate. And then coming back to the center, rolling over to the right side. Placing the left foot either behind the right leg, in front of the right leg, or on the inner thigh of the right leg, above or below the knee, not directly on it. Take that moment to let that right side of the body just fall and sink into the earth. If you want to exhale, take a gentle pressing of that left foot into either the leg or the earth to encourage a little lengthening of that pelvis away from the skull. Exhale, press and lengthen. And then eventually rolling onto the belly with the left leg externally rotated, drawn up towards the armpit, resting that right cheek on the hands. Let the weight of the pelvis fall. Let the pelvis go each time you exhale. And then eventually turning onto your back and drawing that left leg in towards the abdomen. Externally rotate that left leg, place that outer left foot, ankle or shin on the thigh of the right leg. Again, you can hang out here, focusing on that external rotation in the left hip, or you can draw the legs towards you, feeding that left arm in the space between the legs, right arm on the outer part of the right leg. Take hold behind the leg and rock gently side to side. Basking the beautiful sensation in the left hip, left outer thigh, outer pelvis. And then place the soles of the feet on the ground, taking them wider than your mat. And again, windshield wiper legs, letting them rock side to side a little bit. Or you can take the half heroes version, walk that left leg out to its own side, internally rotate that left hip, and let that left inner part of the left leg fall towards the earth. Again, place something under the knee if you need, but you should not feel any discomfort in that left knee, sorry. Again, can I aim to drop both sides of the pelvis and lengthen? And if that left leg is in half hero, you can gently release the leg, peeling it off the ground, sending the legs up towards the ceiling and giving them a good shake. And then lower the legs. Place the soles of the feet together and let both knees fall out to the side. Maybe a gentle rocking of the knees side to side. And then another lovely counter pose could be going back to bridge and just checking in with how does your experience in bridge feel now versus when you began your practice, when we did it earlier on. Go for grounding, go for rooting, go for length. And then you may want to draw the legs in, rock side to side, maybe taking a twist, so letting both knees as they're drawn in fall towards the left side. If you want to rock the head from side to side. And then taking the legs over to the right on your own time. Again, allow the body to settle into the twist, rock the head side to side. And then eventually we're going to roll onto our hands and knees. Take a moment to find your points of contact. Grow those roots through the palms or out of the palms of the hands. Exhale, really, really nourish, thicken, deepen, grow those roots, plant those roots. And then you can begin to move the spine in whatever way feels good. So just move the torso around, flex and extend the spine. Find what feels juicy and delicious in this moment for that torso. And let's take a moment to extend that right leg out, rolling along the ball of the foot, rocking forward and back. Feeling the extension in the hip, the lengthening of the pelvis away from the skull. And you can take that leg, cross it over the other leg, take it out to its own side if you want to get a little more into the inner thigh, inner leg, inner hip. And then take the leg back behind you, give it a good little shake. And then place that right knee back on the ground and extend that left leg, rolling along the ball of the foot. Maybe touch on crossing the leg over, that left leg over the right, and then taking it out to its own side, rolling along the heel, getting into that inner thigh. And then take that left leg behind you, give it a good little shake, bring that left leg back to the ground. Shake out the head. Release the weight of the skull if you want to move the spine a little more. And then let's come into a downward dog, so you can roll in and out of downward dog a few times. Yeah, really allow the weight of the skull to drop to help with the spinal elongation. Also consider the roots growing out of the heels, the palms. And then walking the hands to meet the feet or the feet to the hands. And let's roll up to standing. And then let's come to the center of our mat. Good, and let's find our feet. Let's find our grounding through our feet. If you want to come to the wall instead of the center of the mat, that's okay too, because we are going to move into tree pose, standing tree pose. Let's take that moment to really find our roots, or grow the roots from each toe, each individual toe. Imagine that they're growing out from the balls of the feet, the heels. Inhale, filling that watering can. Exhale, pouring that water into those roots. And then eventually let's shift onto that left foot. So whether you're at the wall or on the center of your mat, really come right onto that leg, right onto the left foot. And then you can turn that right foot out and place either the ball of the foot on the ground at the ankle, the lower leg, or up high on the inner thigh. And avoid any jutting out with the left hip or any leaning. And avoid placing the foot directly on the knee, either above or below the knee. And again, let's get right on top of that left leg. And then you can take your arms out to the side, grow those branches out to the side, grow them up above the head. Interlace the fingers if you like, spread the fingers. Find what feels right in this moment, what offers stability and ease as you grow your trees. Good, and then shaking out that right leg. And then let's try the other side. Shifting your weight onto that right foot, grow those roots, plant the foot. And then turning that left leg out, placing the foot on the ground at the ankle, calf, or the inner thigh of that right leg, so above or below the knee. Exhale, grow those roots, pour that breath into the foot, into your roots, grow your branches. And shake out that left leg. And then we're going to do another round of tree pose, and you can choose to come to the wall for this round or not. But the leg that will be externally rotated will be closest to the wall, and our supporting leg will be the leg furthest away from the wall. So let's take a moment to, before we get too cozy in our tree pose, let's take a moment to find our roots, really establish our foundation, establish our stability. And then you can set up your tree pose in whatever way feels right. Ankle, lower leg, inner thigh. Exhale, root through the feet. You can take that left arm above the head, and as you exhale, lengthen that arm up and over. You can place that left hand on the wall or not. Or if you're brave, you can come to the center of your mat and try this side bending in the center here, away from the wall. Again, really focusing on exhaling, rooting down, and lengthening. And then release that leg, give it a good shake, and let's try the other side. You really get into that right foot, plant down, exhale, root down, grow your branches up, and again lengthening up and over to the left. Continuing to root, continuing to lengthen the pelvis and skull away from each other. And release the arms, release the leg, give it a good shake. And then we're going to do round 3. And this time you might want to use the wall. So coming to the wall, and then the supporting leg is actually going to be the leg that's closer to the wall this time. So you can place the right hand on the wall, support through that right foot, ground through that right foot, and then you can set up your tree. Exhale, ground the foot, drop the pelvis, lengthen the skull up, lengthen the arms up and over. Again, you can rest that left hand on the wall or not. And then release the side bend, release the leg, give the leg a good shake, and smile, and then switch sides. Coming onto that left foot, so that left leg is closest to the wall, setting up your tree, and then drop the pelvis and lengthen the arm up and over. Again, you can rest that right hand on the wall or not. And then come out of the side bend, release the leg, give it a shake. And then coming back to the center of your mat. And let's just take a moment to stand, find your feet, and just be in this feeling. And then eventually let's roll ourselves back down to the ground. If there's anything you'd like to do to finish off your practice, I personally like to check in with something I did earlier on. So bridge is a really great marker to go back to and see if anything has changed in the sensations in my hips, my lower back, my spine. Play with taking both legs out in butterfly, whatever you need to do. Maybe it's a twist. Take this moment for you. Listen to what the body is craving in this moment in terms of movement. Bask in the glory of movement, the glory of sensations. And then eventually come to your final relaxation, your final shavasana. And just let the body go. Let it give over to the earth, to gravity. So you can continue to rest for as long as you'd like. I'll leave you be, but I will leave you with this final mantra. Bringing the palms of the hands together to the forehead. Think love. Bringing the hands to the lips, speak love. Sending them to the heart center, be love. Thank you so much for joining me. And until next time, ease into your best life. Namaste.